Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. So here we have one of the reading comprehension passages, um, and the direction for question is answer the following questions based on the given information below. Well, uh, so the text pointed about thousands of marine species and many vital habitats have little to no coverage in American marine protected areas. According to a new study with biodiversity loss accelerating, many governments have been leaning on protected areas to preserve important species and ecosystem. But surprisingly, much of this effort is missing a key ingredient information on the species they are aiming to protect. This means a large fraction of those protected areas may be falling short of their mission, if not designed with the biodiversity specifically in mind. The study published uh, in the journal One Earth represented the first nationwide attempt to quantify biodiversity inside and outside all the country's marine protected areas. The authors wanted to answer one crucial question. Are the United States protected areas capturing the full diversity of species and habitats that call these waters home? Of the nearly 30,000 species known to live in US ocean waters, the study estimates only three-fourths appear in any marine protected area at all. The authors reached this figure by looking at all the records for species inside and outside protected areas and correcting for different survey methods. However, the scientists suspect this overestimates the real number of species protected. Since marine protected areas are popular study sites, far more data exists for species inside them and than outside. This makes it easy for species found only outside protected waters to escape notice. The study also counted as a species as present in a protected area, even if only one specimen appeared, which hardly makes for a viable population. The study offers a web of suggestions for improving marine protection, stepping stone MPAs that could create a vital connection to help species move between protected zones. The study also calls for protecting more critical areas for marine mammals and birds, and for prioritizing coverage of deep water corals, which are key habitats for many fishes. Perhaps one of the most powerful opportunity involves embracing some less traditional forms of protection. Community-led and tribal-led efforts can offer real conservation benefits, even if their goals are ostensibly different than traditional MPH. These fall under the category of OECMS or other effective area-based conservation measures. Examples include sacred sites, shipwrecks, locally managed fishing zone closed seasonally, or zones open only for small-scale or indigenous fishers. While the protections of OECMS may not be as strong as formal MPLs, right? They can be longer lasting and better enforced thanks to community buy-in. Having them in place can also improve connectivity between official MPHs. Right now, the US does not have a formal designation for OECMS. However, according to the authors, such recognition could improve the country's ocean conservation efforts. Finally, Finally, the authors emphasize that protection is a continuing process requiring regular, long-term monitoring of key species and habitats. This can make sure marine protected areas are still doing what we need them to in a rapidly changing world. The framework the team developed in this study offers a starting point. Our work provides the basis for consistent, systematic characterization of biodiversity uh, at a national scale, said co-author Daniel Dunn of the University of Queensland, enabling us to understand how species and habitats are both changing over time and responding to management intervention. So we have read the passage. So what do you understand from the text? The text discusses a study that found many marine spaces, isn't it? Many marine spaces and also habitats in the US are not adequately, you can say that, protected, right? Adequately protected by current marine protected areas. That's known as a MPA. Okay, so marine protected area. The study highlights what the gap in biodiversity coverage and suggests variety of improvements, including you can say that new types of protection measures and community-led conservation efforts, isn't it? That is what we find out from the text. So if you talk about the main idea of the text, it is nothing but indicating about inadequate inadequate coverage. Um, and you can also say that data data gaps, right? Or you can say that improvement suggestions. So taking all such kind of a things, the whole text is pointed, isn't it? So if you look into means the style, the writing style of the passage is, you can say, scientific, and you can say that informative, scientific, and informative, right? Presenting research find, presenting research findings and suggestions in a clear and structured manner. It uses technical language appropriate for an audience familiar with the marine conservation issues, right? So we understand the style of the text is nothing but scientific and informative. Next is called as the tone of the text. So what is the tone of the text? The tone is nothing but serious, right? And you can say that urgent, serious and urgent, right? Reflecting the critical nature of biodiversity loss and the importance of effective conservation measures, isn't it? Now, now, uh, if you talk about the means a kind of a text which we read, the current network of marine protected areas in the US is not sufficient for protecting the full range of marine biodiversity. Enhanced and diversified conservation strategies, they are needed to address the gaps in protection. So continuous monitoring and adaptive management are are crucial for the success of marine conservation efforts. Right now, let's move to the question. So the question stated that the passage mainly intended to. So if I look into the each of the choice, the first choice stated present a critical account of the current state of marine protected areas in the US. Second is called as examine a study that assess the effectiveness of US marine protected areas in preserving biodiversity, and three stated push for the establishment of more marine protected areas in the US, and four provide information on the flawed policy of marine protected areas in the US. Now, if I look into this, all these four answer options, option two is nothing but the most appropriate or the primary focus of the passage, right? So it is stating about examining a study that assesses how well US marine protected areas are preserving biodiversity. The passage discusses the findings of this study, highlighting that many MPH may not be effectively protecting marine species and habitats due to a what? Due to a lack of what? Comprehensive information on biodiversity. It also mentions the need for improved protection strategies and regular monitoring. So hence you can say option two would be correct choice because it centers around the study's assessment of MPH. It is stated, examine a study that assess the effectiveness of US marine protected areas, right? So effectiveness in preserving biodiversity included finding out recommendation. If you talk about option one, so what option one stated? Option one stated that present a critical account of the current state of right? Uh, marine protected area in the US. So on the basis of that, uh, what do we draw here? Uh, okay. What do we draw here? We talk about the examine a study that assessed the effectiveness of U.S. marine protected areas in preserving biodiversity. It also stated about option 1, 3, 4. Now, if I talk about 1, 3, 4, uh, what do you think that how it is different from the other options? The first option said present a critical account, right? Present a critical account. Uh, then it is stated about what? Um, account of the current state of marine protected areas in the US. So this option cannot be called as a correct one because while the passage does critique the current state of MPH, its focus is on the study and its a finding rather than solely presenting a crucial account. Now, similar to that option 3, which is also incorrect because the passage does not primarily advocate for more MPH but rather suggest improvement to you can say existing protections and strategies. Option 4, that is 2 also incorrect because it is stated provide information on the flawed policy, right? So although it mentions flaws in the current policy, the passage mainly examines the study's findings and recommendation, not just the flaws, right? So in that case, option 2 would be appropriate. 1, 3, 4 are eliminated for the kind of a region we discuss. So that's why option 2 is the correct answer. Hope you understood. That's all. Thank you.